Let me turn my mic. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you all. Today is April 27th, 2022. This is a meeting of the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. The time is 9:30 a.m. With me on the dais are Commissioner Bobby Janecka and General Counsel Mary Smith. We are also joined by our Public Interest Counsel, Vic McWhorter. Since we're holding this meeting partly over a webinar, I'd like to remind folks to keep their phones on mute while they are not speaking so that everyone can hear the meeting. For each item that argument or discussion is allowed, we will inform parties and the public of time limits for their discussion. Registration has just closed at 9:30, but if you would like to address the commission on a particular item, please email agenda@tceq.texas.gov with your name, affiliation, and the item that you would like to comment on. We will do our best to accommodate the request. For those making presentations, please wait to begin your presentation until I've asked you to begin speaking, and please make sure that your mic line is unmuted if you're joining from the webinar and your microphone is on if you're joining us in person. With that, Ms. Smith, I'll let you call the first item.
The enforcement docket is up first today, and that's items 1 through 14, and the executive director's staff are here to present these matters.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. For the record, my name is Melissa Cordell of the Enforcement Division, and with me today are Susan Jablonski, also of the Enforcement Division, and Gitanjali Yadav of the Litigation Division representing the Executive Director. Pending before you are items 1 through 14. The total assessed administrative penalties are $352,900, with $126,112 deferred, $102,501 applied toward supplemental environmental projects, and $124,287 to the general revenue. We respectfully request approval of these items and are available to answer any questions you may have.
I have no questions.
Thank you. Have none.
Ms. Smith, do we have anyone signed in?
No one is signed in on these matters.
OPIC, would you like to make any comments?
My office reviewed these items, and we recommend approval of the orders as presented by the executive director.
I'm in agreement.
Likewise. I would make the motion that we adopt items 1 through 14 as recommended today by the executive director.
I second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. Ms. Smith, if you'll call the next item.
Item 15 is consideration of the monthly enforcement report, and the executive director's staff is here to present.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. My name is Melissa Cordell of the Enforcement Division, and with me are Susan Jablonski, also of the Enforcement Division, and Gitanjali Yadav of the Litigation Division. We are here to present the monthly enforcement report for fiscal year 2022 through February. There were 528 effective administrative orders issued, and of those, 76 contained supplemental environmental projects. These orders assessed a total of $6,422,236 in penalties, with a payable amount of $3,937,633. $1,492,729 are to be paid towards supplemental environmental projects. 6,706 notices of violation have been issued through either our field offices or review of self-reported data in our central office, and 976 enforcement action referrals have been received. There are 1,836 pending administrative orders, with 408 cases that are on the backlog. 206 cases are pending at the Attorney General's office for representation in district court, and 8 judgments have been issued. 2,127 cases are being tracked for compliance. We have included for review a summary of OCE investigative activities for fiscal years 2020, 21, and 22. Susan Jablonski is here to highlight ongoing efforts and improvements for the Enforcement Division.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, Public Interest Counsel. I'm Susan Jablonski with the Enforcement Division. I wanted to have some highlights of what's been happening in the Enforcement Division in the fall. We talked about some of the improvements and efficiencies we've been working on. I wanted to let you know we got approval and moved forward with the reorganization of the Enforcement Division on April 4th. And so we're in the midst of that transition. And part of it is to focus on both the backlog and the quality of our cases moving forward. As you will see from this docket, although it's small, over half of the cases are backlog cases. And so we're definitely taking those things that have been in-house for quite some time. We're also addressing those things that were part of backlog efforts for investigative work that has now come to the Enforcement Division. So there's a slug of those moving through as well. And so it's a busy time for us, and we're excited to have the opportunity to post many of the jobs that we've been holding so that we could move them through the reorg and reclassify them to focus the division on the new efforts. And so we've got a couple of projects going on. We talked about the overtime comp time project to work on backlog. Now we're doing a 50 under 50, which is a goal for staff to hit 50 cases a month under 50 days. And so that's below our targets, and we're doing very well for April. And so we're kind of seeing, you're going to continue to see enforcement reports, because we lag a little, and the monthly reports still climb, but we're plateauing right now. Currently, with the hope that we'll continue to decline after we hit this. We're actually in a little bit of a decline, but I'm optimistic on, a couple of numbers there. But I think we're at that turning point. And so I appreciate the opportunity for us to keep y'all updated on what we are doing and implementing to refocus the Enforcement Division and to up our quality of the products coming to you. So I'm here to answer any questions y'all might have or any other things that y'all would like me to expand on.
I don't have any questions. I greatly appreciate that information. That's great to hear. Appreciate all the work y'all are doing.
Likewise, I'm very grateful for that context. I think that organizational change is one of the hardest things for any entity, certainly for state government, units of state government. So I appreciate you providing that additional context for us, as well as for the public in reviewing these reports. I have one question, and that's just, could you add, I'm glad to hear of the reorganization and how that will shift into different levels of work, but to what extent is are staff vacancies a factor?
The staff vacancies are definitely a factor. We are still hemorrhaging a little bit from folks that have left and that are continuing to seek other employment. Some of that is with other City of Austin, other groups, as well as promotions here within TCQ, since the agency has a fair amount of vacancies as well. And so we're happy to see our folks able to be promoted, but it also means that we're continuing to, as one of the entry-level kind of places of the agency, to train up our folks, and then they get to go other places. So one of the efforts is to kind of up our entry level as we move forward, so that we can start bringing in people at a little higher level and keep them for a little longer. And one of the concepts that has been rolled out with the reorganization is a cradle-to-grave concept of covering cases from when they come to us for referral until they're actually closed, and so that there's some ownership of the individuals doing that. But we need longevity of staff in order for that to really work. So this is, it's a transition period. It's going to take some time, Commissioner, as you pointed out. But I think we're on the road with a plan where we can be successful in kind of moving the Enforcement Division back to a place that it's carrying those cases all the way through to closure.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to hear about that thoughtful shift in trying to give more clear ownership of our cases. Please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Mr. Cordell, did you want to say something? It almost looked like you were, okay. I couldn't tell if your hand was doing something. OPIC, did you have any comments?
Thanks for the update. I don't have any questions.
Do we have anyone signed in on this item, Ms. Smith?
We do not.
Okay, well, there's no action necessary. Thanks for all the hard work, and that was a great report. If you'll call the next item.
Item 16 is the consideration of the adoption of amendments to 30 Texas Administrative Code, Section 7.103, the Memoranda of Understanding relating to regulation of the aquaculture industry. The Executive Director's staff is here to present the item.
Good morning, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. On behalf of the Executive Director, I'm Laurie Fleet with the Office of Water. With me today is Aubrey Puelka with the Environmental Law Division. This adopted rulemaking will implement portions of Senate Bill 703 from the 87th Legislature, which remove the Department of Agriculture's roles and responsibilities related to regulation of the aquaculture industry. Previously, TCEQ, the Department of Ag, and Parks and Wildlife coordinated on regulating the aquaculture industry. This multi-agency coordination was codified in a Memorandum of Understanding in Chapter 7, Section 103. This rulemaking would revise this Memorandum of Understanding to remove the Department of Agriculture from this multi-agency coordination and make additional updates to the Memorandum of Understanding based on rule changes related to the aquaculture industry since the Memorandum of Understanding was last adopted. These include the repeal of the permit by rule and exemptions, which were formerly in Chapter 321, Subchapter O, as well as the development of the aquaculture general permit number TXG 130000. The proposed rule was published in the December 3rd, 2021 issue of the Texas Register. The comment period ended on January 5th, 2022, and no public comments were received. Staff respectfully request adoption of the proposed rule and authorization to make non-substantive changes to comply with Texas Register requirements. We're available for any questions. Thank you.
I have no questions. Do you
My
have any
question.
questions?
I appreciate it.
Ms. Smith, is anyone signed in?
No one has signed in.
OPIC, any comments?
OPIC recommends adoption of the amendments to the Memorandum of Understanding to regulation of the aquaculture industry found at 30 TAC Section 7.103 as presented by the ED.
I think it sounds good. I'm ready for a motion.
Straightforward, appropriate to move forward. I'll move that we adopt amended 30. I apologize, I'll start reading the correct one. I'll move that we adopt amendments to 30 Texas Administrative Code Section 7.103, Memoranda of Understanding relating to regulation of the aquaculture industry as recommended by the Executive Director.
I second the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Ms. Smith, if you'll call the next item.
Item 17 is the consideration of the adoption of amendments to 30 Texas Administrative Code, Section 336.357. The Executive Director's staff is here to present the item.
Good morning, Chairman, Commissioners, General Counsel, and Public Interest Counsel. On behalf of the Executive Director, I am Hans Swager with the Radioactive Materials Division. With me is Clark Reeder with the Environmental Law Division. The adopted rulemaking amends Section 336.357 of 30 TAC Chapter 336, Physical Protection of Category 1 and Category 2 quantities of radioactive material to ensure compatibility with federal regulations promulgated by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which is necessary to preserve the status of Texas as an agreement state. The proposed rules were published in the December 3rd, 2021 issue of the Texas Register. A public hearing was offered on January 6, 2022. The public comment period closed on January 10, 2022. The rule team received 3 comments from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, which resulted in the proposed rulemaking being modified to change the mail stop number, identify in the rule that the oath or affirmation certifications that a reviewing official is deemed trustworthy and reliable is to be provided to the Executive Director, and to specify that the Executive Director is one of the persons to whom advance notice of shipment of Category 1 quantities of radioactive material is to be provided. In conclusion, staff respectfully recommends adoption of this rulemaking to Chapter 336. Additionally, staff requests authorization to make non-substantive revisions necessary to comply with Texas Register requirements. Thank you. We are available to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions, Commissioner.
I appreciate it. I know that the number of NRC adjustments and corrections in their rules that reflect down to our rules are tedious. So thank you for taking care of that effort. We've maintained good status as an agreement state since 1963. No reason to stop now. I'm in favor of moving forward.
Great. Ms. Smith, has anyone signed in on this item?
No one has signed in.
OPIC?
OPIC recommends adoption of the rulemaking as presented by the Executive Director.
I would agree. Seems pretty straightforward to me.
Likewise, I will move that we adopt amended 30 Texas Administrative Code 336.357 as recommended by the Executive Director.
I second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Ms. Smith, if you'll call the next items.
Items 18 and through 21 are for executive session, and the commission will not be meeting in executive session today.
With that, this meeting stands in recess. It is 9:45 a.m. I'm not recess. We're adjourned. Thanks.